There we are. You can hear me now. Good morning to you. It's Friday the 21st of December 2018. Welcome to this morning's United Kingdom tour, coming to you live from Bracknell in Berkshire. I hope you like the red jacket. My reindeer jacket comes out for 2 days once a year. That's it. I should be wearing this tonight. And our karaoke this evening at Central Station, if you're coming along to that. I already know of two largish groups that are coming down tonight, so make sure you're there nice and early. If you're coming tonight to karaoke, or you're indeed in the North London area and you want to join us, here it is. Okay, Friday karaoke tonight. It's the last one before Christmas, because of course we're not there on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. All right, just to warn you, this is the last one before Christmas. And that's at Central Station Bar at 37 Wharfdale Road in London. 8:30 is the start time. You do want to be there early, otherwise you might end up singing only once. And if you get there after 10:30, you might not sing at all, right? So be warned, it will be very, very busy there tonight. On this, of course, the shortest day of the year, boys and girls. Oh, it's still dark now. I can't see any sun. Hello, sunlight. Maybe it's covered by a drone somewhere. Who knows? There might be a large drone flying around out there somewhere. No sun yet this morning because it's the shortest day of the year. Yes, it is the winter solstice. As mentioned in almost all the newspapers this morning, Daily Mirror, if you're sick of... it says, if you're getting... Let's go to a... Shall we go to a dark camera? There we are. That's like it's like still dark. Do you see what I mean? No, I haven't done it like this. There's something wrong with it which makes it look a bit darker than the other two. I don't know why that is. It says, if you're getting sick of how early it gets dark in the UK, you'll be happy to hear. Happy. Let's do happy. Do happy with me. Come on. Oh, don't sit there bloody miserable looking for something to moan about. Just try and be happy for a change rather than criticising everything and being unhappy. Be happy. Let's be happy together. Are you ready? Ah! Go on, be happy. Ah! Are you happy now? Good. Well, you're about to be happier. You will be happy to hear that we've reached the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, boys and girls. It marks the moment when the sun shines over the Tropic of Capricorn, its most southern point, according to the Daily Mirror this morning. I do like the Daily Mirror. I get more stories from the Daily Mirror, that left-wing piece of trash, than all the others. The Daily Mail can be particularly boring. What happens with the Daily Mail? I noticed they find something. For example, it might be Thomas Markle. He's always in there. And it will be endless. Not just one story. All about Thomas Markle. They don't leave it alone. And who's interested in him anyway? Not even his own daughter. Certainly not the Queen. I'm really sorry. I would love her to call me, especially as... Oh, you pathetic man! Grow up! Grow up! The solstice marks the moment the sun shines over the tropic, its most southern point, the Tropic of Capricorn. Thankfully, once the winter solstice has passed, the days will start getting longer again. Oh, summer is just around the corner. Here's your guide to the darkest day of the year, including when it is and how it's celebrated around the world. When is the winter solstice? It's today, Friday, December the 21st. The date of the winter solstice is different every year. I didn't know that, but it will always be 20, 21, 22 or 23. Okay? To be precise, the solstice itself is the moment the sun shining furthest to the south, directly over the Tropic of Capricorn. So there we are. That's what it's all about. Is it the first day of winter? It says this depends. This depends. Now, as far as I was concerned, winter started a couple of weeks ago. But according to this, astronomically, it does indeed begin on December the 21st and ends on March the 19th. So be careful of cold, freezing weather, which apparently isn't going to be at all over the Christmas period. We're in double figures today. I've turned off my heating before I come up here, and I'm still quite warm in this, I must admit. 3 calendar months with the lowest temperatures are indeed astronomically astronomically it begins today, December the 21st, and ends on March the 19th, determined by the Earth's orbit around the sun. Meteorologically, weather-wise, it begins on December the 1st, which kind of is where it begins for me and ends on February the 28th, 29th in the leap year. 3 calendar months with the lowest temperatures. There are traditions. Pagans. Are you a pagan? What is a pagan? Is that someone who dresses in white clothes and dances around stones? Is that a pagan? Is that a pagan? Pagans have celebrated the winter solstice for thousands of years. There's an annual event at Stonehenge where those celebrating go and watch the sunrise on the shortest day. Oh, wow. How exciting. I can do that for my caravan, to be honest. I can. Seriously. Well, you've seen the opening video. By the way, I've redone that opening video as you requested. That's all done. So when I get back to the caravan on... probably at some point on Sunday. I'm not sure what time I'll be doing a show on Sunday, but because I found a church up there to go to on Sunday, so you'll see that new bit of video with the sun rising, and I see the whole thing from my. I'm south facing. I'm so lucky the position of that caravan. Many of the traditions we now think of being part of Christmas, including Yule logs, mistletoe, and Christmas trees, have their roots in the pagan celebrations of winter solstice. The Druids, the priests of the ancient Celts, used evergreen trees, holly and mistletoe. Here we are, mistletoe and wine, children singing Christian rhymes. I love it. One of my favourites. I might do that one tonight. Shall I be a Cliff Richard tonight? Shall I be Cliff Richard tonight at the karaoke? Anyway, the Druids used to cut them down and put them in their homes. Druids cutting them down and putting them in their homes would have been too destructive to nature. Oh, right. Oh, I got that wrong, didn't I? And it goes on. So if you want to know more about the winter solstice, have a little look this morning in the Daily Mirror, and it's telling you all about it. All right, happy winter solstice to you. Let's have a look at the old scoreboard and the messages pouring in this morning here to Television Centre in Royal Berkshire. Good morning to Angela Walters in Melbourne, Australia. Aussies got in again. What's that about? Too bad Pommet. I don't know what you mean. Aussies win what? I don't know what you're talking about, Angela. Explain, please, dear. Good morning to Paul and Lou. Good morning, Paul. Ray Reynolds is in the house. Good morning, Ray. Andy. Leon Corrigan, good morning. Paul and Lou have only just managed to join us this morning. He's just putting his drone away at the moment. He's been playing with his little drone all day yesterday, haven't you? Hello to Brad. Says, so this is what happens when you live on an inland what? You didn't finish that off. Morning to John Parrish. My inland Wisconsin. Is that where you are? In the US of A? Oh, I've not been there. I love America. Florida. I like Florida and Vegas. I'm not too keen on New York, to be honest. There's a bit too many people in one place there. Do you know what I mean? It's just so busy all the time. But good morning to you, Brad. Welcome to our little show. Hello to Diane Jeb. Morning, Diane. Andy likes the jacket. Thank you, Andy. I've had this a couple of years now, this one. Brad, if you have a red nose, then that means you've been drinking too much. I did have a little drink yesterday, actually, and I'm not a drinker. One drink is all it takes me. I'll tell you about that in a bit. Thank you, Diane likes the jacket as well. Adrian Richardson, good morning to you. Hello to Katie Ann Patterson, good morning. Nights are going to start getting lighter again. No, dear, days. Oh, dear. Thank you. John Parrish has lost his drone. It was last seen heading for the UK. Oh, let's have a look. I don't know what Brad's going on about there. Katie, if it gets any hotter here, we'll be cooked boiled eggs with legs. I've seen on the news how hot it is in Australia. It's I have been to Australia in January and February, and I must admit it's a little bit too much for me because that sun just is on you all the time. I suppose after a while you get used to it. It doesn't take long to acclimatise to weather. I suppose those people that move over there and have always lived there are kind of used to it, really, aren't they? Merry Christmas, Brad. Merry Christmas to you. Good morning to Matt Joplin. Good morning, Matt. Hope you're well. We had a little dinner out on Sunday, didn't we? Which was quite nice. I've got to admit, Matt, I wasn't keen on the food. I wouldn't go there again. Dear me. And a bit slow as well, weren't they? Not keen on the food. Brazilian restaurant. What was it called? Pritto, wasn't it? Pritto, something like that. The company was fantastic. It's all about the company anyway, really. It's not about the food. I wasn't impressed with the food in there. Ray Reynolds, night and day, you are the one. Night and day, you are the one. Frank Sinatra, thank you very much. Are you doing that one tonight, Ray? Are you? I think you should come and sing that one tonight. Can I just check my messages this morning that they're coming in okay? Because there's a new thing that the Restream provider has given us. And I think all the messages are coming through on that one today. Let me just double check. Oh, Craig McKenzie, your one's not on there. No, maybe not. Hang on, you're above Katie, aren't you, on there? Just a second, boys and girls. I just want to check that this is right. Katie. Oh, no, there's Craig. No, Craig, I must have missed you out. You see how easy it is? When you must understand, boys and girls, when there's loads of messages coming in, and people do get very upset by this, it's got to catch my eye to be read out. I do try and read most of them out, unless they're kind of completely off subject or I don't know what you're talking about, in which case I might skip over. But other times, there's so many coming in that you do skip over them. And it's all very well saying pay attention and all this, that and the other sometimes. I know some people get a bit upset because they don't get the messages read out. But literally, it's in. If you were sitting here doing 10 things, I am multitasking. If you were sitting here doing 10 things the same as I am, then you'd have trouble as well, I'm sure. Unless it's my sister. You know, my sister is very good at multitasking. She can do that. Thank you. Good. All righty. So, shortest day of the year. Who's been flying that drone? It's either John Parrish or Paul. One of you lot. Who is doing that? Is it you? I just find it absolutely amazing. First of all, I'm really, really sorry for all those people. I feel really sorry for those thousands and thousands of people who were inconvenienced by some prat flying a drone over the Gatwick airport. We are talking hundreds of thousands of people, not to mention the money that must have been lost at that airport. You know, that airport, it must have cost them hundreds of thousands of pounds yesterday. With all no one's getting any compensation. People aren't getting compensation for that. You know, at the end of the day, it's not the airline's fault. This has never happened before. It's not the airline's fault. So I get it, you know, that people don't get compensation. Of course, they get their full airfare paid. And I've said before on this show, I always recommend that you book an entire holiday through a travel agent, someone like Thomas Cook or someone like that. And then if any part of that holiday goes wrong, it's down to the tour operator, Thomas Cook, to get you to your holiday destination. If something goes wrong and they've got to give you a refund, they refund you the whole thing. The whole thing. Or you get another holiday somewhere. Whatever, that's up to you, whatever you want to do. If you book your holiday in bits yourself, you know, to save a few quid here and a few quid here, a few quid there. Say, for example, so you book like the plane and then you book the hotel and then you book the car, you know, at the other end. If a bit of that goes wrong, if your plane goes wrong, okay, you might get the money back from the plane, but you must understand that the people who own the hotel, that's not their fault that your plane hasn't been able to get there. So they will still charge you. You won't get that bit back, or the car hire that you might have booked at the other end. You're unlikely to get that back. I think some of the insurance companies, you know, you've got to read that small print if you want that back there. So I do get that. I do actually get that. Angela says we've just had a downpour in Melbourne, but it's still sunny. Oh, I saw did you see the ice? Oh, what are they called now? The hailstones in Sydney yesterday. We had it on the news this morning, like bloody golf balls. They were massive. Thousands of pounds worth of damage there. Dreadful. Anyway, going back to the drone thing. Yes, I mean hundreds of thousands of people inconvenienced, maybe not getting away. There was one woman on the BBC Breakfast this morning who was crying because she can't get to her dad's funeral, which is on Saturday. But this bloke, they've got a travel expert on there, and he's really good. Anything you want to know about travel, you need to speak to this man, Simon Calden. I think it's Simon Calden. And he's been around for years, and he knows everything there is to know about travelling. He's really good. And he was on there this morning explaining it to us. You know, if you're lucky, you're going to be one of those people that today, because the airport's open now, if you're one of those people who are lucky that are going today, you may well find you get to that airport and you whisk through it quickly and then straight onto your plane. He said, because they've now opened the airport. Unfortunately, if you're one of those people that are cancelled, you go to the back of the queue again. And they will try and get you to wherever you want to go. But because of how the system works, you know, once it's up and running, they don't go backwards. They pick up from where they are. So, for example, if the airport opened at 8 o'clock and your flight is at 8:15, you may well find you walk through that airport and get your 8:15 flight. Or it might be a little bit delayed. If your plane was due at 7 a.m. and it was cancelled, you've got to go back to the back of the queue again and hope that somewhere they can fit you onto a plane. But this is the busiest time of the year. There's a lot of very full planes leaving. You'll be very lucky to go anywhere. Terrible. And how awful that someone would actually do that, and it would appear by the news programmes that this is something purposely done to affect all the planes. Now, what amazes me is that they haven't been able to find it. Not only they've seen it in the sky, they've seen it. Why, oh why, someone didn't shoot it down, I do not know. This wouldn't have happened in America or China or somewhere like that. They would have shot the bloody thing down. There must be a marksman somewhere there, either within the police or our wonderful British Army. There must have been someone there around in the area who could easily shoot that thing down. Why didn't they? They're not going to hit anyone with a bullet. They're firing up into the air, surely. You know, and there's no planes up there. They're all cancelled. I do not know why that drone wasn't just shot down out of the sky. This is not a small thing, incidentally. Again, this was on the news. It is a commercial drone about the size. This bloke on the telly was saying it's about the size of a dustbin lid. Well, that's not exactly small, is it? How can you not find where that is? Or, better than that, the people who are flying the damn thing. You know, you've seen the police helicopters up in the air when, I don't know, someone's escaped from a prison or something, and they got those heat-seeking things. So, you know, even if you're running for a forest or something like that, there's like a little red mark on their TV computer screens in the helicopter. So, oh yeah, there he is. We can see him running. Why can't they see the bloke or woman who's working the drone? Or maybe there's more than one of them. I don't know. There were several drones at one point, weren't there? Are they all flown by one person or several people? We don't know. They still haven't got them. What is it? Oh, wait, 36 hours after the first one interrupted flights. I find that amazing. And yet, if I go to London tonight and I accidentally put one wheel in a bus lane, flash, a camera will take me and send me a £100 fine. Amazing. Totally and utterly amazing. Incompetent? I wouldn't go that far. No, I don't find the police in this country or the army that incompetent. But nevertheless, I do not understand how they can't find that drone or its operator or operators. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Anyway, it's open now, and hopefully there won't be anyone else mucking around with their planes later on, so dreadful. And it's all in the papers this morning. You pick up virtually any newspaper, boys and girls. Let's have a look here. We've got, which one have we got here? The Sun this morning. They reckon Gatwick Airport, it says here this morning, is back open this morning as chaos caused by an eco-warrior drone. I don't know what an eco-warrior drone is. Drone pilot enters its third day. A limited number of planes are scheduled for departure at Britain's second airport, but thousands of people still face Christmas holiday misery. While planes departed and arrived at the airport for the first time in more than 32 hours, the Transport Secretary, Chris Grayling, is a strange-looking bloke, isn't he? He was. He looks a bit gay. Is he gay as well? Is he one of us? He's either posh or gay, one of the two. Sometimes it's difficult to differentiate between the both. As you know, I'm both posh and gay. I am posh. What? Mr. Grayling says, after a lot of detailed work, both police and Gatwick are confident passengers are now safe. So it has reopened. Just a minute, I've dropped something. Drop my text in phone now. I'll read a couple of texts out in a minute. And that's it. So hopefully the planes can now run. But all those people able to get away and see family in various parts of the world, terrible. Of course, I have to say, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been Heathrow. And that's got, is it two runways, 3 runways there? Even busier. Even more people inconvenienced. Presumably they found it easier to do it, I don't know, wherever they're doing it from. Do you have to be quite close to the... I've never flown a drone. Do you have to be quite close to a drone to be able to operate it? I mean, does it kind of go out of range? It likens it. You remember those little radio-controlled boats and planes that you had back in the 70s as a child? And you put this boat in the water in a lake or something like that. Oh, yeah, I did it over at Richmond Park a couple of times. You put this little boat and you've got your remote control and off it goes. And then it goes so far and then you've lost it because it's gone out of range. Is it the same with drones? Can they go like out of range and then you lose control of them? Or is there some sort of emergency thing on board these little devices that stops it going out of range? I wonder how that works. Someone will know on here. Someone will know. I'll read your messages in a second. Good morning to Simon Keane. Morning. Who sends in a couple of messages about yesterday's show. He said, everything's costs money these days, Mr. Chop Chop. Even if you want to be a mugger, you've got to buy a moped first. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Simon. And Maureen. Oh, Maureen's not here yet. Where's Maureen again? Maureen's getting late. Oh, yes, she is. There she is. Maureen's here. Maureen's in the house. Good morning, Maureen. Hope you're well, my sweetheart. Are you along tonight for our last one before Xmas? Eh? What Christmas songs? You must sing your Jingle Bell Rock for me this evening. Okie doke. Over on to some of your messages this morning. One moment, please. Let's just scroll up there and down a bit and up a bit. Good morning to Dominic. Welcome along to the show, Dominic. Welcome. Katie went on a plane for the first time and I thought I was going to die. Oh, I know what you mean, Katie. Isn't it frightening? Frightening going on a plane for the first time. I remember taking my nephew on a plane and my sister, and it was their first time. He was 15, I think he was 15 years old, 15, 16, 19, 20, 21. So it was about 6 years ago, and they'd never been on a plane, neither of them. So I decided to take them to Scotland and back for the day. And we went, I think, from Luton Airport. I think we went from Luton Airport, and my sister got on. She was fine. And my nephew got on, and... was he 14, 15, something around that age? And he sat next to his mum, and they're doing all these checks and all that. Everyone's got on. We're sitting down there, and the plane starts moving. You know, they've closed the doors. And at that moment, he's jumped up. He said, "Oh no, I can't do this. I'm getting off. And I'm like, "Well, you can't." Well, I want to get off. I want to get off now. And at that point, a member of this, it was a British Airways plane. You're only on the plane 45 minutes going up to Scotland. But this bloke come down, trolley dolly came down and said, by the way, can you see this? That says Chris there. That was a gift from my sister a couple of years ago, and I've never used it until today. So I've hung that from below the start at camp. You probably can't see there. It just comes around and says Chris there. I don't think you can see that. Anyway, so the trolley dolly came down. The airline steward came down. And he said, is everything all right here? I saw it's my nephew. He's really scared of flying. And this British Airways bloke, he got down on his hands and knees. He crouched down and spoke to my nephew in a really caring, soft voice, which calmed my nephew a bit. And I'm full of praise, absolutely full of praise for British Airways, really. I've never had a problem. Well, of course, we've had delays before, but it's the same for every plane. And it's not necessarily the fault of the airline carrier, whoever that is, you know. It was really very well dealt with. And my nephew sat down, although he closed all the windows. You didn't want to be able to see out the plane taking off and all that. And we got up in the sky and eventually came round to think, oh, well, it's not such a bad thing after all. But, oh, yes, the first time you get on a plane, it can be a very frightening experience. Even now, Katie, if I'm on a plane, I kind of switch off to the fact that there's nothing underneath me for a couple of miles. I tell myself that actually, if I want to go, there's a stairs. I can just go down the stairs back to ground level. There's nothing underneath you. You try thinking about that next time you're on a plane, Katie. Next time you're on a plane, think to yourself, there's nothing underneath me. Just a thin piece of metal on a seat. And that's it. I'm probably about 10 million gallons of aviation fuel. At the slightest spark will go up and you'll be blown out of the sky, dear. Either that or a drone hits you. John says the drones have been pre-programmed or via a PC, so no operators. Is that right? I don't know how they work, John. I've never, ever experienced the drone. I have to say, in Hamleys, where we were on Tuesday, when I went to Hamleys to do some shopping, they've got loads of drones in there, and the kids, and they are kids, the kids in there, sort of 20 years old, are really good at operating these drones in the shop. These things fly around and they get really close to your face. And as it goes past, you can actually feel the wind of the drone. They're very, very good at it. And if a kid can do, I say kids, 20, as far as they're concerned, they're all grown up, aren't they? But when you get to the sort of over 40, you realise that a 20-year-old is still just a little boy or a little girl, even though they can get married and make all those mistakes that we've made. And you can't tell them, can you? You can't teach a child to learn from your mistakes. They have to do them all over again, don't they? But if a young boy or girl can work a drone in a shop, you can imagine what an adult can do out by an airport. Something like that. I didn't know they were pre-programmed on a computer. Good morning to Tony Airy from the radio station down there in Sussex. Good morning, Tony. Hope your soul show's going all right. I often have a little listen on a Saturday night on my way to work. Tony, if you want to know, I'm generally in the car on a Saturday night, sort of between 10 to 8 and 9 o'clock at night. So if you ever want to say hello, I'll be there. I'll have Fatback Band, please. Or what about Rolls Royce, Magic Touch? I got the touch, magic touch, your touch. And one of my great soul classics of all time, I haven't heard it on the radio, is by Evelyn Champagne King. And it's Give Me One Reason. Do you remember that one, Tony? Give me one reason not to leave you, so I won't leave. I was looking for a live version of that on YouTube, and there isn't one. A song that Tony Blackburn used to play on his BBC Radio London morning show back in the 80s, which was hugely popular. Angela says, my first flight was to Bangkok, and I thought the plane was on fire, but it was only the clouds going past. I thought it was smoke. Angela. Either that or they were burning to toast in the galley, weren't they? Food on the plane's all right, isn't it? Food on the plane's all right. Good morning to Pete Branch, who says, I didn't know you were gay. I just thought you were a little flamboyant. Maybe I am. Maybe I am just flamboyant, Pete. Like Bruce Forsyth. All right, my loves? How can Bruce Forsyth not have been gay? Do you ever wonder that? We love Bruce. John, fuel pollution are eco-warriors. Do pay attention to what? What do you want me to pay attention to, John? What is it? That's one of your favourite expressions now, isn't it? Do pay attention. Or do you mean do pay attention in particular to you? Which is it, John? Do pay attention. I'm sitting here. I've got news things on here. Little meters going there. A picture there that needs to be constantly monitored. A mixer down there. Little video standing by there. And you want me to pay attention to you? I'm too busy, mate. Sorry. Angela. Pete is as camp as a row of tents, queer as lemonade sandwich. Who is? Me? Me, Angela? I hope you're not suggesting because I'm a little flamboyant that I'm one of those men. How dare you, dear? How dare you? Tony goes to Heathrow cargo sheds. They are mega busy. What's that? The Heathrow cargo sheds. Don't know what that is, Tony. Do let me know, Tony. Only a cheapo drone can fly out of range. Others return home. Thank you, John. Didn't know that, you see. So I must have got cheap little boats. You know those little boats? You must have had one, John, that you put in a lake and... it won't control anymore and you've lost it. It's gone. Gone too far out of range. Pete, BA long haul to Sao Paulo are rude, are they? Maybe it's you, Pete. Maybe they just don't like you. You know, if you was a bit nicer to them, perhaps they wouldn't be so rude. Or are you flying in economy? In which case, you get what you pay for, sunshine. You got to save the money, dear. Go in the nice seats. Economy, dear. I beg your pardon. Oh, that's lovely, that is. You got your knees up someone else's arse in front of you. No, thank you. There you go. John says the drones at Gatwick cost about £5,000 each. They're not toys. Interestingly, I know how you know so much about those drones, John, at Gatwick. Wasn't you, was it, dear? Are you able to operate it from wherever you are in the world? Can you do that? Could I leave a drone, I don't know, at my sister's house, hidden somewhere, and then have it take off, operated from here? That would be quite camp, wouldn't it? Oh, Tony's having a bit of a break. Back on the air 29th of December. Thank you, Tony. Paul and Lou, they would be battery controlled, so surely they can't stay up for too long. I don't think they did stay up for too long, Paul. I don't think they did. Didn't they have to keep coming down? Yeah, so surely someone must have to charge them up. Mustn't they? Do they have to plug them in and charge them up again before? They must do, mustn't they? You don't, or can you get petrol-driven drones? I don't know. I know nothing about them. Thank you. Tony's making a little note of my request. Thank you, Tony. John says they last an hour. Ah, right, okay. Well, that's a fair time, isn't it, for a drone? I did think about getting one of those camera drones. You know my opening videos, and I thought, it'd be quite nice to have something flying in and all that business. And then I thought I'd only use it a couple of times, and then it would go back in the box. A little bit like computer games. I don't know if you are, but I've absolutely no interest in computer games whatsoever. I bought a lovely Wii years ago, about 10 years ago. I bought a Wii. I bought all these games, separate games and everything. I used it 3 times. Went back in the box. What's all this about? Can't be bothered to do this. There's plenty of people that like computer games. My nephews like computer games, particularly Gary, the older one. He plays this thing with little soldiers and shooting each other. Does nothing for me at all. And he's got all his mates on the phone as well at the same... Well, not on the phone. He's like, kind of... I don't know if it's plugged into his... Or it might be wireless into his little computer games box thing. And he's talking to people on there. Some people that he don't even know. Isn't that the weirdest thing? Talking to people that you don't know. Very strange. Abra. Good morning, Abra. How dare you dare to me, dare to you, dare to me on my dare. I love it. It's all about having a laugh, this programme. We don't like to get too serious sometimes. Brad says, same here. I didn't know you're gay. However, it doesn't really matter. Just be yourself and be happy. We must always be happy, dear. Happy, happy, happy. Are you happy? I am never, ever unhappy. Never, never. I try and be happy at all times. Even last night, I was so happy in bed that I couldn't even sleep. I was just smiling. It makes your mouth after a while with all the smiling. All the time happy. Good morning to Ronnie. There's my mate Ronnie who's there this morning. You're up early, 9:30. Good morning, Ronnie. I'm early today as well by about half an hour actually. We've got a few bits and pieces to fit in today. I like to go swimming early. I went swimming last night, funnily. I went swimming twice yesterday. Once before we went to afternoon tea. And also again last night. So I went swimming twice yesterday. At night time, there's no one in the pool. I had the whole pool to myself. And I'm very pleased to say that my weight appears to have stabilised at 12 stone 10. 12 stone 10. As you know, my slimming world, I managed to get down to 12 stone. And I kept it down there for months, about 6 months. And I started going up north to my sister's and it started to creep up. And it is a creep. It's not a sudden jump. It's a creep up where you're having too many chips, maybe too many ice creams, that sort of thing. But of course, I'm not there all the time. So I come back down here and it kind of comes back down again. And it's kind of stabilised at about 12 stone 10. A couple of days ago, I weighed myself. It was 12 stone 12. I was disappointed. But I didn't really do anything. I didn't eat less or do anything different to what I would normally do when I'm down here. When I'm down here, I'm really quite strict on the slimming world, unless I go out somewhere. Well, I might have a bit of ice cream here and there, but but I am kind of almost on it, and it comes back down again. So my weight's kind of stabilised at 12 stone 10, as has been that now for about 4 weeks. Goes up a little bit, goes down a little bit, but it seems to stabilise there, which is good news because I can still get in one pair of my jeans. John, my boat was a wind-up. Even worse. Paul and Lou says, I've just seen that Chris Grayling is definitely a gay. Do you reckon? I'll try and get him down to the karaoke tonight. I'd love someone really important to turn up at my karaoke. Someone really important and well known, like a politician. There's a Liberal bloke that comes into Central Station. He's all right, actually. I just feel a bit sorry that no one ever votes for him. You know, when you see these political party conferences, they have the Conservative one. You know, massive building full of people. Then they have the Labour one, massive building full of people. Then they have the Liberal one, massive building, 6 people sitting at the front. It's all very sad, really, isn't it? And he did say that he was going to try and get Vince Cable to come down, but he never got him down. I'd love that. Someone of great, like Theresa May, to walk into Central Station and come and sing a song. What would she sing? The Winner Takes It All. Something like that. John listens to Steve Allen. Yes, as indeed I do, John. Is my top talk show host. Very entertaining. And so much better, because all those people on LBC now, it's all a bit news and political, isn't it, all the time? He kind of still manages to get his own thing done, but I have a terrible feeling that that's going to... that they're moving him on at some point, because he kind of... he's fantastic at what he does, but he's kind of separate from the whole station now. Do you know what I mean? Whereas they're all doing news and politics and serious all the time, and he's still the fun one. They've left him there as like the fun one who's very, very entertaining, but I've got this dreadful feeling someone's going to come along at some point and you don't really fit in with what we're doing anymore, and that would be an enormous loss, certainly to me, because I love what he does. I absolutely love what he does. Tony, where freight goes for collections, is that where you are? If you had pallets going aboard, 3 or 3 hour wait to be loaded. What for a pallet? Well, I shan't be sending any pallets out there then, dear. Just my little bags. I don't usually take an awful lot when I go on holiday. You know, just one pair of knickers and a pair of socks. That's all I take. And I just wash up as I go along, or buy new ones. Something like that. It's 7 miles radius for a drone. Is it really? Ronnie says, I didn't know that. John also says they have 2 or 3 drones that are flying there. Okay. Ronnie, 15 minutes to 30 minutes before a charge. Heard a tech guy talking about it. Yeah, I suppose, Ronnie, it depends really, doesn't it, what sort of drone you've got. If you've got one of those like professional ones which are being used, not like one that we saw in Amley's. I think some of these drones are like 7 minutes. 7 minutes. What did I buy once? This helicopter. Or did I buy you a helicopter? You used to plug it in. You'd leave it for a couple of hours and then you get 7 minutes flight out of it, and that was it. I lost that over someone's fence. It was actually my neighbour here. I lost it over his fence too, and he never found it. Tim, Television Tim. He's been on the telly a few times. He does those police on the motorway thing. What's that called? Traffic off. Not a traffic off. He doesn't nick you for speeding. He helps you if you break down or something like that. He's one of those. Are they traffic police? Not sure what they are. Brad is a writer. Good luck to you, sir. Good luck to you. Happy? Katie is always happy. You've got to be happy on this show. Angela in Australia, a lady sued a real estate agent for taking a photo of her house for sale and a picture on a house board, and she was in her backyard topless sunbathing. Oh, it made me feel sick. Women topless sunbathing. Oh! And the real estate didn't realise they were where they were when they were selling the house. So now we have rules on Jones. Oh, my nephew would love that. Pictures of topless women all over the place. Dear me, I sent him a very, very rude video the other day that I found. I don't dare mention it. Not on this multi-famous, award-winning show. Certainly not. Good morning, Sir Louis. Morning, Louis. Pete says it takes a lot less muscle to smile than it does frown. It certainly does. Look at this. My mate says you need to pull to yourself the size of your arse. 12 stone 10. He reckons I'm 13.8. Well, if you want to come and look at my my scales later on, you feel free to do so, darling. You know, I haven't had to go to some doctor to have it all sucked out in a little metal tube, love. Dear me, he's had plastic surgery done on his stomach. He's had all the fat sucked out. And it's all right, I suppose, if you can afford to do that, you know. Yeah, buy chips, eat chips, ice cream all day long, and then every few months you just go and have it all sucked out again. What do they do with all that fat anyway? Oh, it dreads to think. Is it just like flushed down the toilet or something like that? Roy Brownlow. Good morning, Roy. Roy is in the house. Good morning, Roy. Ray is wishing the very camp Ray Reynolds wishes us all a swishy Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Paul, 2 or 3 pairs of pants, Chris. See you are selling them on eBay. Yes. For those of you with the wider arse, you can purchase now on eBay a pair of my used underwear. Thank you. Traffic police. Traffic police. I can't read that word. I'm not reading the word bastard on this programme. Thank you. Ronnie, a real television personality, Television Tim, traffic officer. They close off 3 miles of the M25 for a crisp packet in the middle lane. That's quite humorous, that is, Ron. That is very, very humorous, that is. Very, very humorous. All right, let's take a break for your messages for a little while. Did I say hello to Maureen this morning? Maureen, who's in the house. Maureen, are you down tonight? You down tonight, darling? Anyway, so yesterday after the show, as you know, I went swimming, and then we went to a lovely place. Now, I haven't put a film together yet, but I've got lots of little clips of film and that, which I will put together. I'm not sure when I've got the time to do it, actually. I'll try and do it for tomorrow, but I can't promise that it's definitely... Oh, hang on a minute. What's wrong with my levels on there? That's better. They looked a little bit dodgy to me there. I'm not sure when I'll be able to put it together. I'll try and get it done for tomorrow. And you'll see a little video of our wonderful afternoon tea that we had at Clevedon House, which is in Maidenhead, which actually is Theresa May's political constituency. And we were hoping to see her at some point, perhaps walking around Maidenhead, doing her shopping, you know, in the Co-op or somewhere like that. We didn't see her, unfortunately. We didn't see her. What we did see was a disgusting man chucking rubbish out of his car. We did see that onto the road. And it's quite nice, Maidenhead. Disgusting man in his car. I hate that, don't you? Chucking bits of paper out the window, he was. Awful. And then we drove next to him and he looked exceedingly dodgy, so my mate didn't say anything. So we went to Cleveland House for afternoon tea. A lovely place. It's very old, and you can see there's quite a lot of work that needs to be done on it. I noticed cracks in some of the cement outside and places like that. But nice. A really nice afternoon. The food was excellent. I had a cocktail. You see, now, here's the problem. I don't drink. I rarely drink. The only times I drink is at afternoon teas, where I'll have a glass of champagne, or on a plane, where again I will have a glass of champagne. That's it. I don't drink lager, anything like that. But this cocktail sounded particularly nice. I thought, I'll have this champagne cocktail. And it arrived in, like, you know, one of those triangular glasses. Really nice. Really, really nice glass of champagne. Cocktail type thing. I can't remember what it was now. Some specific thing. We had copious amounts of tea. Lovely sandwiches. All very well presented. We had scones. There was a little mince pie. I'm not a fan of the mince pie. I think I swapped a mince pie with one of my mate's sandwiches. And little cakes on the top there. And it was really nice. Lovely atmosphere. Comfortable chairs. Nice people in there. Lovely staff. We did try... Well, I mean, we did actually walk around the outside for a little while before our dinner, but it was blooming cold. And unfortunately, I'd forgotten to take my coat. I had a jacket on, the nice woolen jacket, but it wasn't enough. And I meant to bring my coat out as well, as indeed my mate did. But we both forgot. We both forgot our coats. So we couldn't stay outside for very long. We did get some shots, some little bit of film footage outside, which, as I say, I will put together. But too cold to stay out there for too long, which was a shame because we wanted to go down into the forest. I know the delightful Claire mentioned the fact that I needed to walk through the... Oh, Claire's not with us this morning, is she? Claire mentioned the fact that I should have gone down through... Or I should go through the forest down to the river, but it was too cold to do it, so we had a little walk around. Lots of children playing out there and things like that. And they seem to have some sort of Santa trowel. I noticed there were like little signs, Santa this way and something this way and something that way. And there were children with bits of paper, obviously following some sort of trowel, which was all very nice as well. There was a Christmas tree as you go into it. Before you get to the actual hotel, I think it's a national trust place there as well. So people who aren't going to the hotel can also go in part of the grounds. And they had this Christmas tree there right next to like a wooden... like an entry box where security people's sitting there, and this woman come out with her notepad. Oh, hello. I said, oh, hello. I said, who put that bloody tree up? I said, it's awful. It was awful, this tree. It was leaning to the side, and it literally looked like someone had just chucked a load of bulbs over it, and that was it. No tinsel, dear. No tinsel, no baubles, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Very, very badly. I don't know why they bother sometimes. Now, if you're not going to put the tree up properly, then don't bother. Waste of time, innit? So that was it, really. That they had the most beautiful clock there. All gold it was, this clock. And again, I've got some pictures of it for tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow, if not perhaps a couple of days later. It's going to be a busy time for me now. I only had one lot of sandwiches. Now, what's happened in the past, and we've both done this, me and my mate, we've had a lot of sandwiches, the scones and the cake. It all comes together. Sometimes it depends where you are. Sometimes the whole lot comes together. Sometimes it comes in bits. In this case, it all comes together. So you've got this little plate rack like that with 3 plates, large, medium, small. And on the bottom of the sandwiches, then there's the scones, and then there's the cakes on top. Always comes like that, right? And we generally have the sandwiches, when they're not massive sandwiches, little like soldiers they are, So 4 soldiers really makes one sandwich. One sandwich like that cut into 4, but there's different fillings in each one. So what usually happens is that we have one lot and then we ask for another lot. Then we have the other lot, but then we struggle for the rest of the meal. So this time we had the sandwiches and I was still hungry and he said, do you want some more sandwiches? I said, no, let's try not to have the sandwiches because we struggle with the rest of it. So then I had the 2 scones and then I had the cakes and I'd had enough then. Although at that point I said, oh, I fancy it because I love scones. I love scones. Whether they're raisins in there or plain ones, I love scones. Not with butter, with clotted cream and jam. So I did ask for 2 more scones, and then they always, generally, the only place where we've been refused 2 more scones was bloody Selfridges. Well, we weren't refused them, but they charged us for 2 scones. It was costing us like 120 quid, right? 120 quid for 2 afternoon teas and blooming Selfridges or something that I can't remember the exact figure. Say it was 120 quid. Then I ordered 2 scones and they bought 2 more scones over. And then the bill come and they added 2 scones on it. £8. Sorry? We've just paid £120 and we were really pissed off by that. Much to the point that my mate wrote them a letter and they refunded the whole amount, which we didn't ask them to do. All we wanted was another 2 scones. How much is that going to cost you? 20 pence? And you want to charge me £5 each, I think it was. £8, £10, something like that. And that was the only place we'd had trouble, really. But this place, we were asked for another couple of scones over the come, all included in the price. When you pay that sort of money for an afternoon tea, you expect it to all be included. No extras, please. Thank you. Just include the whole lot. We understand. Drink. Of course. Pay separately for drink because people just take the piss. I've seen this in British Airways Lounge. You see them because it's all free drink. I might go and have 1 glass of champagne. There's people there knocking them back. You've seen them pissed out their heads in airports. Disgusting way because it's free. because it's free. So I understand the whole thing about being charged extra for drinks and all that. I get that. I get that. So I'd had this cocktail, of course, and the afternoon came and went, got back in the car, come back here, went to bed. I'm a little bit merry. All I've had, remember, is one cocktail. That's it. I mean, my mate says, do you want another one? I said, oh, no, I better not have another one. Better not have another one. So I paid the bill. We got back in the car and brought me home, and I went to bed. I woke up. I felt dreadful. I felt absolutely dreadful. And this always happens now when we go to an afternoon tea. I wake up after an afternoon tea and I feel dreadful. Now, my mate's not sure it's the alcohol. He thinks it's because we both have so many cakes and sandwiches and we're just not used to that. I eat very little bread nowadays. Very, very little bread. I mean, I used to have I've still got the bread machine downstairs, which I haven't used for years. And you know, ladies and men, if you have a bread machine and you make that lot of bread, and half a loaf gone within 10 minutes. It is delicious. But my God, doesn't the weight pile on? They are deadly. They are absolutely deadly bread machines. They really are. So I put mine away years ago and I just don't use it anymore. But I used to be a big bread eater. You know those French sticks? I could easily have one of those in a day. And there's a particular bread from Waitrose called, I think it's a boule. It's a round thing. And that is so nice. Now, as an added problem with bread, it does give me bad acid. And I know it's bread. I've whittled, it took me ages to work out what was causing it. It's bread. And certain other things. Crisps as well. Crisps, cake can give me really bad acid. So I can have a bit now and again. It's not too bad. But if I have it several times in a day or consecutive days, I get really bad acid. So there's another incitement there into not eating bread. I love bread very much, but I eat very little of it. My sister, I believe she's got a bread machine, and I think she is doing me a little loaf of bread when I go up there as part of my Christmas gift. Oh, yes, very nice. So I've come back here, gone back to bed. I woke up and I felt dreadful when I woke up. Absolutely dreadful. I really did. But I know how to fix it. And the way I fix it is to have something to eat. Now, bear in mind, it was only a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours since we had the sandwiches. So what I did last night is I walked up to the swimming pool last night, which I was going to do that anyway. Walked up to the swimming pool. I had my swim. I started feeling better. I came home, had my dinner, and then felt much better. Watched a little bit of telly and went to bed. Once again, I had a little bit of trouble sleeping last night. Don't know why. It's probably because I'd got up so late. You see, usually, if I have a sleep in the afternoon and then I go to work, well, I'm up again at 4 or 5 o'clock and I go. Now what's happening the last couple of days is I haven't gone to bed till about 5 or 6 and got up again at 7 or 8. So, of course, have my night things and then I've gone back to bed again at 12. Can't sleep because the gap hasn't been big enough. So that was my day yesterday. Also, yesterday I managed to put my new computer memory in. That's all working. The little Wi-Fi plug-in thing that's all working now because the old computer I had down there didn't have Wi-Fi on it. I've managed to get the Wi-Fi working on that. Also, I've even found an old gadget in my cupboard, a Freeview HD box. Now you're probably thinking, why does he want a Freeview H box? I tell you what, the television I've got up at the caravan in Lincolnshire is a really old telly, not even HD. It's a flat screen, but it's got no HD on it, no smart telly, nothing. So I'm used to watching a nice HD TV. I can't do it down there, so I found an old HD box which was just sitting in the cupboard with the remote control so I can plug that into the back of the telly. It's got HDMI thing in, but it hasn't got HD tuner within the telly itself. So I can plug that into the little thing on the back and I've got HD TV up my caravan. So that was my day yesterday there. Let's have a look here. Roy, hark at Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder, Bob the Builder, Bob the Builder. He is dead. Joe, I used to sing that to my nephew. Isn't that awful? Bob the Builder, he is dead. Katie has been looking at the photographs. I'm glad you see. I did take a load of photographs yesterday of the scenery and myself and, of course, my mate as well. And you can find those on my Facebook wall, facebook.com/Chris Reardon UK. That's where you'll find the photos that we took yesterday, all right? Facebook.com/Chris Reardon UK. Good morning to Sean Lyons. Good morning to the show, Sean, who's coming to you from Trump land. Trump dump land. Well, there was an article in the paper today, I think, actually, somewhere that I saw that says he might resign within a couple of weeks to avoid something. I don't know what he's avoiding. He looks like he's ready for a heart attack, to be honest. He's put some weight on Donald Trump. How fat is he? Dear me. Jeannie D. Good morning, Jeannie. She's a bit late. She was flying a drone as well. They've all got their drones out today. What do you call a deer with no eye? No idea. One eye, no idea. Sean says, don't ever be sorry. So it depends, Sean. You've got to be sorry if you're in the wrong. You absolutely. There's too much of that in the world now. People don't say sorry anymore. You know, perhaps you're, let's think of something. Maybe you've bought something recently and it's gone wrong. No one apologises anymore. Have you noticed that? Someone makes a mistake, council tax bills, something like that. Maybe no one apologises. Oh, everything keeps falling down today. Why is that? Maybe I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here on a Friday morning, am I? I should be up north, dear. Up north. John, we need a fairy for our tree. Can you pop over? No, it alert me bum when I sit on it. I don't like all the spikes sticking into my hole. It's not a very pleasant experience. Kelly Kim is on Christmas holiday. There you go. I've mentioned you earlier. Kelly and Laura and her group will be coming along to the karaoke tonight at Central Station. If you're coming along, join us there from 8:30 tonight. 8:30 to midnight this evening, all right? John says you feel awful after tea and scones because of the bill. It is the bill. Oh, you don't want to know how much that cost yesterday. Sean agrees on the bread machine. They really are deadly, bread machines. But the bread is so delicious. I like it when it's as soon as it comes out. You know, it says on all the instructions, leave your bread to cool down. Don't think so. It's got to be eaten warm and nice and crusty. I look forward to my piece of bread. Mind you, I do have a little bit of bread on Mondays and Fridays now because our lovely Maureen brings me down sandwiches to Central Station. For me to go up north. Maureen says, hope to see you later. Tonight I'll be coming straight from a Christmas dinner venue. Yes, I remember you telling us that on Monday. Maureen's going out to dinner as well before. I hope you're not going to arrive drunk, Maureen. I won't be able to let you in if you're drunk, darling. There has been some complaints about your drinking at Central Station, darling. You'll start to upset people because you're going around all the tables drunk. Oh, no, hang on a minute. Sorry, that's Ray Reynolds. I'm so naughty. Bread sticks to your ribs. Is that you? I think it does. I can see it now, Katie. Angela, how much do you pay for a kilo of prawns? No, thank you, Angela. Oh, how anyone can eat prawns? They sit there pulling the legs off and the wings and whatever else. They're disgusting things, prawns. Didn't they? They sit there ripping little bits off. Horrible things. Horrible. Sean says Trump has 17 criminal charges now. Is he really? It is a mess. Come back, Barack Obama. We liked him. We liked Barack Obama. We quite liked him. What do you call a deer with no eyes and no legs? Still no idea. Hello to Chris Manzar. Morning with butter. Of course, bread with butter. None of that nasty margarine stuff or olive oil spread or anything poncy like that. Well, a butter, dear. Full fat butter. If I'm eating a piece of bread with butter, I want to actually feel my arteries hardening as I eat it. Thank you very much. Bread with currant jam is my favourite. Oh, not had that. No, bread with strawberry jam is what I like. Ray Reynolds won't give me that zombie knife now. Ray Reynolds has bought me a zombie knife for Christmas. Thank you, Ray. I'm going to go around and start mugging people. I believe you can earn more money like that. I'm going to get a little moped. I'm going to get a little moped, throw acid in people's faces and start mugging them with my zombie knife, tapping at the window. Oh, Claire's made it. Oh, dear. Welcome along, Claire. Thanks for joining us. Only been here an hour, love. Where have you been this morning, Claire? God's sake. Good morning to Dee. Welcome to the show, Dee. And Joanna. Everyone's so late this morning. What's going on there? Are you busy? Sorry to interrupt your day with your busyness. Blimey. Right, Gemma Collins news. We like to have a little bit of Gemma Collins news in the morning. Oh, poor old Gemma. The people on Dancing on Ice don't like her. There's a surprise. There's a surprise. Do you know why they don't like you, Gemma? Because you have no talent. You are famous for being no one. Gemma Collins has no talent whatsoever. Listen, Gemma, what you don't understand is that you are on the television to be laughed at. Okay? You make a lot of money out of that. Excuse me. You make a lot of money out of it. Fair enough. But we're not laughing with you, darling. We're laughing at you. You are the modern equivalent of a freak show. You really are. In the Daily Mirror this morning, Gemma Collins is already irritating her Dancing on Ice co-stars enough for them to repeatedly block her from the WhatsApp group for being rude. She's been blocked. Fella contestant Brian McFadden, was he the one in E17? Staying up. He used to wear that white Parker anorak, didn't he? One of our karaoke people, actually, DJ Chris, has now purchased a white Parker anorak, and he does E7. I think he's bought it just to sing that song on the stage. I quite like it, actually. Is that a bit chavvy? A white Parker. Is that a little bit chavvy? A white Parker coat? I do quite like it. Looks good on him, I must admit. DJ Chris is roughly the same age, just slightly a little bit older than me, but he don't look it. You wouldn't think he was like 56. He looks good for his age. I will give him that, DJ Chris Cross. It says, fellow contestant Brian McFadden has revealed that Gemma, 37, and the rest, love, has been blocked when her diva nature comes out. The former Westlife singer, beg your pardon, Brian McFadden's Westlife, isn't he? He's not E17. The former Westlife singer, 38, said they have strict rules for the WhatsApp group. She gets removed when she's rude. She can be a diva to all the ITV people, but if she's a diva to us, she gets blocked. I mean, who the bloody hell is she anyway? Just this great big fat thing that walks around crying and shouting and swearing at people all the time. She's ghastly. She's absolutely awful and fake. Fake. He added he was keen to beat up Brian, who wants him to fall over and smash his face on the ice. Is that right? Oh, hang on a minute. Have I missed a bit out there? Meanwhile, I beg your pardon. Meanwhile, ex-Strictly star James Gordon revealed that the group is named Icicles. Okay? He added he was keen to beat Brian, who wants him to fall over and smash his face on the ice. Oh, I'd love that to happen to Gemma. I would love that to happen to Gemma Collins, for her to be going around on the ice and suddenly the ice just cracks under her enormous fat weight. Brian also says there was a little possibility of a curse hitting Dancing on Ice because the show was nowhere near as intimate as Strictly. What, you mean they're not all sleeping together? Well, I'm not surprised. Who was to sleep with Gemma Collins? So, which person in their right mind would want to do her? Oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, the other fat bloke from Towie. What's his name? Arj, who plays the fool now and again, doesn't he? I don't know about these people. Good morning to Weird City Citizen. Good morning. You're late as well today. We're about to finish here. We've been here since 9. 9 o'clock we started this morning. Claire says, fantastic late night at the karaoke at the Twezzledown. Is it Twezzledown in Aldershot? I don't know where that is. But glad you had a nice time there, my darling. All right, Claire. Chris, stop bitching about Gemma Collins. Who is she anyway? Exactly, Claire. Who is she? Who is she? No one. A fat, untalented cow who keeps appearing on my television and I have to turn it over again, wearing my finger out. I might have to sue her for wearing my thumb out, touching the button all the time. Andy, Brian McFadden was in Westlife there. That's right. Sorry, I got that wrong there. Good. Okay, boys and girls, let's do today's birthdays. Where are our birthdays? One moment, please. Birthday time, gang. Oh, I can't get my things up there. There it is. Happy birthday today to Ryan Gordon, who's 24 years old today. Good morning to you, Ryan. Happy birthday to Ryan Gordon. Salim Yusuf, happy birthday. Filipa Figueria, 38 years old today. Helen Thompson, good morning, Helen. Happy birthday to you. Kerri Folks, 26 years old today. Michael B. Brooks' birthday today. Nigel Moss, a young 50 today, playing his guitar there. Leanne Marie Cowd, good morning, Leanne. Happy birthday to you. And Edward Ross. Edward Ross's birthday as well. On this Friday the 21st of December 2018. Happy birthday, gang. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Friday's birthday's done and dusted. Angela says, Ray Reynolds, can you sing me a song? Sing me a Christmas carol. When I do a Christmas carol, I might do it again tonight, actually. Last time tonight, for the 12 Days of Christmas. So I do the 12 Days of Christmas, which I may do tonight at the karaoke, as long as it's not too busy. Because once it gets too busy, people that come have to come before me. Do you see what I mean? So if there's a long queue of people, I don't sing. I'll only sing if there's like a short queue or there's no one waiting, which is actually very, very rare. That's why you don't see me singing. I always feel that the people haven't come to see me sing. They have come to sing, and therefore they must always come first, which I wish some of the other karaoke girls and boys would look at it like that and stop pushing themselves forward all the time. Alrighty, thanks ever so much for joining us on the show today, boys and girls. We'll be streaming our karaoke live, as always, tonight. Your best place to watch that is at YouTube. youtube.com/Chris Reardon UK. Don't watch it on the Facebook stream, because we always get cut off on there. They think we're illegally playing songs, and we're not. We're doing karaoke, but unfortunately it leads us to getting cut off on the karaoke all the time. It's no one's fault. It's just how this blimmin' Facebook thing works. It gets worse all the time, I think. Someone was saying the other day who had left Facebook and was saying goodbye to all these people. And I read this thing and I think you're absolutely right. I wouldn't be on Facebook if it wasn't for being able to do these shows on there and advertising my nights. Otherwise, I wouldn't be on there. I think it's detrimental to the human population, Twitter and Facebook and things like that. But you can't put the genie back in the bottle. That's the problem, you see. But I wouldn't be on there if I didn't do Facebook videos, if I didn't do these live videos, and, of course, for advertising my nights. At some point, I will stop working, but I still won't be able to come off there because I do these shows. I rarely comment on anyone's stuff. The rows and people living out their sad, lonely lives on here, telling us how much they're depressed and how they've just split up with someone and how they're going to do this to their girlfriend or boyfriend, pictures of food and all that, what they've been eating for dinner. So uninteresting. And endless selfies. Endless selfies. I mean, you have a look at the pictures I did yesterday. I think there's 2 pictures of me in there. The rest are of things. So we used to take pictures of things. Now, people assume that every picture they take, they have to their face in it. I wonder why that is. Let's have a look. Sing me a song. Oh, we've done that, haven't we? We wake up the screaming cats singing. Really, do you? And screaming cats. Probably sounds like me trying to sing, my darling. Thanks so much for joining us on the show on this Friday. Hopefully back with you at some time tomorrow. And do join us for our karaoke live stream, which you'll find at youtube.com/Chris Reardon UK, starting round about 8:30 tonight. Enjoy your Friday, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye now.